So in real estate, fraud's a pretty scary thing, but there is some help out there. What do I mean? Let's talk about that next. So a couple weeks ago in my newsletter, I talked about some fraud in real estate and some stories related to that, and it was pretty scary. And I got some comments back from our viewers or our readers, and they asked some really good questions. And I thought I'd share some of the stuff that I found out about that. So first off, hey, Dave Edwards, Treasure Valley Dave here. You know, you're a great real estate agent. By your side when it comes time to buy a home, sell a home, or even relocate here to the Treasure Valley. And all of those things are potential for fraud in the transaction. And we want to make sure that does not happen to you. So, I talked about my newsletter. You can go to www.getdavesemail.com, no apostrophe, getdavesemail.com, and you can sign up for free for my newsletter. It comes out once a week, and I write it. It's not a whole bunch of recipes and stuff that was written by somebody that doesn't even speak English on the other side of the world. It was by me. I struggle with English as well, but be that as it may. So one of the things that started my newsletter last time was I read my friend Greg's article that he did, or he wrote about title pirates and scammers galore. And essentially what this is that this guy, Greg is a commercial real estate agent, and this guy contacted him, had some land, would like to sell it, and wanted a cash buyer and wanted to close really quick. So Greg, being a great real estate agent, his little antennas went up. And long story short, turned out this guy that was the seller was not the owner. And he was a fraudster, a scammer. And Greg just was right in on it. But the owner of that land had no idea. So I was talking with some of my friends over at the title company, and we're talking about fraud because that's what we talk about when we're sitting there drinking coffee and eating cookies, right? In theory. So they shared this with me. They have this little PowerPoint that they provide to real estate agents. There's a lot of good information on here that you might find interesting. So let's check this out just a little bit. So what is fraud? Or WTF? To use vernacular. So beware of fraud, wire fraud. Scammers comb through the public real estate data to find a target. Then they send phishing emails to try to gain access to the victim's email account. So phishing is when they like spoof a legitimate company's email, you know, with the little header and stuff, the little pictures. And so you think it belongs to somebody legitimate, but it doesn't necessarily. AI is used to generate these phishing emails. Dang technology. So once they have access to your account, the scammers wait to intercept an incoming email containing all the legitimate wire instructions. Beware of wire fraud. So once the wiring instructions arrive, the scammers replace them with their fraudulent instructions, which goes to their account. That's not good. So wire fraud is definitely an issue, and it's definitely a big scam that's going on. But I also want to talk about, are you worried that someone's going to sell your property without you even knowing about it? Or maybe they don't just sell it, maybe they get a second mortgage on it, and you have no idea until one day that the sheriff comes to auction off your house. Oh my gosh. So how do the bad guys get you? Fraudsters identify real estate free of mortgage obligations via public record. So if there's a mortgage on it, that's just one more layer that they would have to go through, because mortgage holders, they don't like it when somebody else swoops in and takes the property, because that's their collateral for your mortgage. Then they pose as the property owner and contact a real estate agent, like my good buddy Greg, to list the property typically far below market value. Exactly. They're looking for a cash buyer to make a quick sale. The fraudster is unable to sign the documents in person and request the docs be sent directly to them so they can obtain their own notary. Big flag, big red flag right there. So how do the bad guys get you? So the seller's docs are signed and notarized by the fraudster. Buyer signs the documents in good faith and provides funds at closing. And the closing is completed. The proceeds are transferred to the fraudster. You can probably guess what happens next, and it's not good. And then in this presentation, they had a couple examples. We'll skip over some of these, but I thought we'd zero in on this one here in Canyon County. So in this case, there was bare ground. The sellers only, the quote sellers, the fraudsters only communicated via email with their real estate agent and their escrow officer, and they wanted a quick close. And funny enough, a big transaction like this just happens to be the time that the sellers are traveling abroad and unable to be there for a signing. So they request the documents be sent to them, be emailed to them, and they take care of it without ever seeing anybody. This is interesting. So this is that row of ancient housing that's right along Lake Lowell. Have you been out to Lake Lowell outside of Nampa? Just pulling your leg. That's not where they're at. Here's actually a picture of the bad guys, or what they said was their pictures. They provided fake IDs, and the transaction was turned over to the sheriff's office, and the true property owners were contacted. So here's some of the red flags that we as agents are looking out for. Vacant land with an out-of-area owner. A property is listed below market value. Seller only communicates via phone or email and will not meet you face-to-face. Seller will come up with excuses requiring a cash sale. The seller will pressure all parties to close the transaction as quickly as possible. So this is good stuff for real estate agents and title officers to keep their eye out. So how does this apply to you? You're just a regular person that maybe you're interested in buying this piece of property. So this is where you want to make sure that you talk with your real estate agent and say, hey, have you met with the seller? Do you know them? Have you laid eyes on them? Or are some of these things that we just talked about, are they cropping up? And are those red flags that the reason that they do this is because it works, because not all real estate agents are keyed in on it. So you as a buyer of a piece of vacant land or whatever, you go ahead and ask your real estate agent these questions to make sure that everything is on the up and up. We're all in this together, as Red Green says, right?
Yeah!
And then on this slide, they're talking about some of the things that we can do, we as in the real estate agents and the title officers, to make sure that everybody is who they are and everything's going along and there's no fraud involved. So that would be great. So if you do see a piece of land that's got a price that's too good to be true, it might just be too good to be true. But let's say that you're a property owner and you've seen these ads, these credit monitoring things, and they cost $30 a month. And it's like, for the peace of mind, maybe that's a good idea. But talking to my title buddies, they're telling me about a program that they have. And it might not just be this title company, but there might be something similar with other title companies, maybe one that you're already working with or that you have worked with in the past. But check this out. Title insurance provides protection to the property owners and lenders against financial loss due to defects in the property title. We already knew that, right? Such as undisclosed liens or ownership disputes. But in today's world, we need something a little bit different. Our newest title insurance endorsements offer you an additional layer of insurance that addresses the risk of forgery or impersonation even after you purchase the property. That's kind of interesting. It caught my attention. There are 5 types of fraud and forgery endorsements available, and then they have a list down below. And they say that unlike credit monitoring services that charge a monthly fee, their endorsements are that one-time cost. And here's just a look at a couple of different products they have. And when it comes time, we can talk with a title officer and find out exactly what it is that best fits your needs. But these prices are like nothing. $35 or 5% of the premium for this upgraded, the plus. And so 5%, if the premium's $1,000, that's what, $50? No, that'd be 10%. $25? Oh my gosh, doing higher math, real estate agent. Those two things don't go together, right? No, I'm just kidding. But they have some of these policies if it's a new transaction, but they also have some for existing owners. So you might be able to get with a title company and get this kind of a forgery and impersonation coverage for like $35, one-time fee. So you can rest assured that even though you're not running down to the county every single month and pulling out your deed to make sure that nothing's changed on it, these people will be monitoring that for you for that one-time fee. I thought it was pretty decent. No, they didn't ask me to sell this to you, and they're not sponsoring me at all. I just thought it was a pretty decent value. And if our friend Greg's real seller had this, then these pirates, title pirates, scammers, fraudsters, whatever, they wouldn't have had to worry about it because it would have been caught and it would have been fixed. And even if something had gone through, which, like I say, the reason they do this is because it works enough of the time. But if it does go through with the right insurance, the title company will come back and fix everything. So I thought that was pretty decent. I'm pretty excited about that. I might have to check that out for myself. So anyway, thanks for stopping by. Hope you got something out of this. I sure did. I'm glad that this is kind of a PSA type of a thing because it's something that you need to know just so you can sleep better tonight. All right, guess what? We'll see you guys on the next video. Hey, thanks for stopping in and learning more about real estate in Nampa, Idaho and the Treasure Valley. If you'd like to learn more, watch this video here next or binge on this playlist. When it comes time to sell a home, buy a home, or even relocate to the Treasure Valley, your Treasure Valley Dave team is your real estate expert by your side, helping you get home.